the phrase "eaten alive" is enough to stop you in your tracks, especially when the thing doing the eating is a giant anaconda and the item on the dinner menu is a human.
This is the largest snake we've ever captured, probably the largest snake in Florida, 215 pounds.
So long that it actually spanned the entirety of our shot.
A woman found with a python wrapped around her neck.
Taste sometimes takes a curious turn in the unpredicted world of animals.
Oh my goodness, I thought they're not carnivores.
Surprising dietary secrets,
Oh my God.
bizarre preferences, and peculiar taste palettes. Hang on to see the diverse menu of the wild that will leave you shocked. Flamingo feeding its baby. This video making rounds on social media shows a mother flamingo feeding its baby. And what made everything so strange is the color of the fluid. But let me tell you, the flamingo is actually feeding its chick milk, not blood. Parent flamingos whip up a unique concoction called crop milk right in their digestive tracts. It is like a collection of protein and fat-rich cells that come from the bird's digestive tract and use it to keep their young satisfied. Eating stones. Did you know that ostriches eat rocks on purpose? It's not for flavor or fun, but a brilliant strategy for survival. While it might seem odd at first, these stones play a crucial role in helping the ostrich digest its food. These massive birds don't have teeth to chew their food like we do. Therefore, inside the bird's gizzard, which is kind of like a second stomach, these stones get to work by grinding the food. It's like they have their own little renewal system going on, and it works! Giraffe mysterious diet. Giraffes, known for eating leaves from tall trees, occasionally indulge in bone-crunching snacks. And when they do, it's a sight to watch! Here, this giraffe is literally feeding on an animal carcass. While it may be surprising for you, this behavior isn't just a habit. It's called osteophagia. Researchers believe that when the seasons shift and leaves become scarce, giraffes turn to these unconventional sources to meet their nutritional needs. It's nature's backup plan, ensuring they don't miss out on crucial nutrients. However, there's more to the story. Giraffes aren't swallowing chunks of these bones. They cleverly chew and suck on them, letting their saliva dissolve the nutrients. Glowing frog. Is this frog a budding genius, or did it just snack on a firefly? Despite our hopes for the next Einstein, it seems the latter is true.
It's a frog. Alright, there's a frog with a lightning bug in its stomach.
The frog gulped down the firefly, and incredibly, the little bug remained alive inside its belly. What's truly mesmerizing is that you can witness the frog's internal structure.
It's not lightning anymore. There it
There
goes.
we go.
There it goes.
The veins, the arteries, because of the glow from inside. Nature sure has a quirky way of leaving us amazed, doesn't it?
It's a frog.
Alright, there's a frog with a lightning bug in its stomach.
Butterfly eats turtle's tears. Believe it or not, butterflies sometimes sip on turtle tears to get essential salts and minerals. How weird is that? These insects need salt, and while they can't get it from plants or mud, so they utilize turtle tears to provide them with a good source. This is likely because the diet of the turtles contains meat, and therefore a higher salt content. This unique act of drinking tears is called lacrythrophagy. The bond between butterflies and turtles is termed commensalism, which means one animal benefits while the other remains unaffected. African snakes eat eggs. Here comes Africa's egg-eating snakes, nature's experts at enjoying a shell-tastic treat. These snakes have a unique way of dining. Instead of biting or injecting venom, they swallow eggs whole. But that's not the end of the story. Inside their flexible bodies, specialized spines crack the shell open, and then gulp, they squeeze out all the nutritious insides, leaving the empty shell behind. The monitor lizards, with their keen sense of smell, can also sniff out hidden nests.
Oh my god, just down the hatch.
And guess what? The love for eggs is universal in the animal kingdom. I mean, in the forests of North America, raccoons stealthily approach bird nests, their clever paws delicately picking up each egg. The earthly diet of elephants. Apparently, eating dirt is also a delicacy. In the animal kingdom, the ordinary often becomes extraordinary. Just like the regal elephants who prefer mud over any other food. This behavior is known as geophagy, and it isn't an elephant's peculiar preference for mud pies. No, it's nature's way of ensuring they get all the minerals they need. For them, river clay is more than fun. It's their favorite treat, packed with essential nutrients. Interestingly, female elephants seem to be particularly keen on this soil snack, especially more than the males. It turns out that their need for sodium is even higher, of course, because the demands of motherhood. Caecilian's unimaginable diet. Across our world, animals from majestic elephants to vibrant birds have been observed consuming soil. The outer layer of the mother's skin becomes a feast for her young. Interestingly, the mom even grows a special fatty layer just for them to eat. They have a name for it too: maternal dermatography. This steals the spot, however. Pretty much everything about the Caecilian is goofy. First of all, they have no legs, not even vestigial traces of limbs. The craziest part? A bunch of them have super small eyes, or even no eyes at all. Guess it makes sense since they're mostly underground and don't need them. Diverse diet. In 1930, a seemingly eclectic ostrich at an English zoo surprised everyone with its diverse diet. Brace yourself for the list. 3 handkerchiefs, 3 cotton gloves, a pencil scratch, 4 torn pennies, 1 French coin, not a French person, thankfully, a part of a bicycle, pieces of wood and strings, an alarm clock key, and various bits of metal. Oh, and I almost forgot, a 4-inch nail. Unfortunately, this diverse diet plan led to the bird's demise. Well, one possible explanation is that animals often require gastroliths, pebble-like items, to aid in the digestion of hard food. When they can't find these, they might resort to consuming other items, which later on leads to their misfortune, like this unfortunate ostrich. Horse eating meat. Most people think horses only eat grass, but guess what? They sometimes eat meat too, and they seem to especially like chicks. With this habit, horses are meant to be in the category of opportunistic carnivores, as they do not need meat to survive. You might be wondering why these horses would eat meat, so here's the reason. Well, in places like Iceland, where winters are super chilly, horses sometimes eat meat to help them stay strong and healthy. Skuas eat terror vomit. You may not believe it, but skuas have the most eccentric eating habit on this planet. Skuas also prefer to steal their meals from other birds, but they're not above assailing animals if they do. So, at least one thing is clear: the world of birds has its bullies too. Why do they do this? Well, it's an easier way for them to get food. Instead of catching and digesting their own prey, they let other birds do the hard work. Once the other bird has partially digested its food, the skua swoops in, scares the bird, and takes advantage of the situation. Crocodiles can live without eating. You will be surprised to know that crocodiles can go for a few months without food, and in extreme cases, they can go up to 3 years without food. It's true that crocodiles can go years without eating, or more, but if they can help it, they don't go that long in between meals. Most crocs eat every 3 to 10 days, depending on the size of their meals. And do you know that they can also eat a massive quantity of food in a single sitting? Well, I think that's their right if they are starved for so long. Rabbits eat their feces. Rabbits have to eat their own feces to stay healthy. Yes, you read that right. When rabbits first digest their food, not all the nutrients are absorbed. So, to make the most of what they've eaten, they give it another go. By consuming their droppings, they're ensuring a second pass through the digestive system to extract every bit of nourishment. Here's another twist. Rabbits produce not 1, but 2 distinct types of feces. The first type is named fecal pellets, which is the actual waste. The other is cecotropes, which is the snackable variety for these furry creatures. Koalas eat toxic leaves. Now, coming towards koala, they are extremely picky with their food, but also have peculiar choices. Koalas have such an odd culinary preference that they munch on their mother's, well, droppings. And on top of that, they also eat toxic leaves. According to some scientists, koalas have specific genes that allow them to break down the toxic compounds in eucalyptus leaves, turning a poison into a primary food source. Koalas normally consume around 500 to 800 grams of eucalyptus leaves in a single day. Impressively, they manage to consume all of this in only 3 to 4 hours, as they sleep 20 hours a day. Polar bear strange eating habit. We are all familiar with what climate change is doing to the Arctic, making it tough for these bears to find food. In the warmer months when food's scarcer, they sometimes resort to cannibalism. It's typically the big, dominant male bears going after the smaller females and cubs. In Alaska's Beaufort Sea, biologists saw something totally unexpected. A male polar bear actually tracked a pregnant female to her den and then ate her. It's an act they'd never seen before. They're thinking maybe it's because of the desperation brought on by climate change. Nature can be so intense, right? Dracula Ants' unusual preference. Ever heard of Dracula ants? Nope. They're not starring in any spooky ant vampire stories. Females have an interesting yet weird eating preference, as they gently sip a nourishing liquid from their own larvae. In Dracula ant communities, there is no traditional food sharing via regurgitation like in any other ant worlds. So they have developed their unique system, especially handy during food shortages. The larvae act like little reservoirs, storing nutrients for their mothers. What an ingenious adaptation for survival. What do you think about it? Widow spider. Ever been on a bad date? Consider yourself lucky that you're not a black widow spider. The widow spider has a really bizarre eating habit. I mean, she likes eating her partner during her date. Yep, the female weighs 30 times more than the male. He's like a 6,000 pound, while her date is a modest 200 pounds. She can lay around 200 eggs from just one rendezvous, and she might do this act a few times. The male provides a good source of protein which can benefit the female, especially during the egg-laying process. By consuming the male, she gets a nutritional boost that can aid in the development of her offspring. So if you think your dating life is wild, remember these spiders. Vampire bat's weird choice. Called vampires for a reason, these bats are known to feed on animals. Using heat sensors near its nose, it zeroes in on spots where the red fluid runs close to the skin. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. This bat doesn't merely sip on its crimson sustenance. With the sharpest teeth around, it delicately shears away hair and makes a tiny cut. Then, using its specially grooved tongue, it laps up the fluid, channeling it directly down its throat. It has an anesthetic, ensuring the donor remains unaware, and a fluid thinner to keep the flow just right. And the bat remembers. Pearlfish. Pearls inside a fish, not your usual find, right? This golden carp caught in Hong Kong had more than its golden hue to offer. A surprising collection of pearls. And we're not talking about one or two, but a handful of vibrant ones in the colors of blue, orange, purple, and even golden. While it's undoubtedly interesting and looks real, the cynic in me is making me think otherwise. I mean, it's possible that the pearls were added post-catch for a YouTube show-off. Well, do let me know your take on this seemingly extraordinary discovery. Is it too good to be true? Or can fish really harbor such treasures naturally? Bird swallows oversized fish. Check out this daring bird who goes all in for the sake of a full-course meal. This cormorant devours a fish twice the size of its head. Certainly a remarkable hunter with incredible skills. Initially, I thought the fish might escape, given the bird lost it twice. But this is no ordinary bird, as it plunges back into the water, snags the fish again, and casually gulps it down, as if it's no big deal. After all that talk about food, even I'm hungry. Snake-eating cow. It's not a snake devouring a cow, but a cow feasting on a snake. Yes, you read that right.
What are you doing?
In Queensland, Australia, a farm owner witnessed the unbelievable scene of her cow, Ginger, chowing down on a snake. Yikes!
You seriously eating that?
The cow munching away on the scaly snake like a noodle. Despite the sweet name, there's nothing gentle about this cow's unusual meal.
You seriously eating that?
Scholarly fish. In a bizarre incident in 1626, England, a woman selling a cod fish came across an unexpected treasure: pages of a manuscript inside a codfish's body. Hearing the news, the renowned scholar Dr. Joseph visited the lady's stall and transferred the book to another scholar, Dr. Samuel Ward. Upon cleaning the book, they discovered that it contained information about various fish species, authored by John Frith, who was imprisoned in 1533 for his rebellious theories. The book, titled Vox Piscis, Book of Fish, was eventually published in 1627. Maybe we can count that fish as a co-author. Pet dater. Snakes can be downright terrifying predators. Imagine leaving your dog outside, not expecting it to end up as a snake snack. That nightmare became a reality for a woman who went out to feed her 2 puppies and found only one returning. Love, the missing pup had been swallowed by a massive 14-foot python. The poor dog was just 2 months old. Fortunately, the snake couldn't digest its unusual meal and vomited out the pup. Well, at least they could hold its funeral. Largest heart discovery. In 2015, destiny took a turn for a blue whale that washed up on the coast of Canada, offering scientists a unique opportunity to study its colossal heart. They decided to go through its chest cavity to retrieve the massive organ. What was discovered then was beyond shocking. Reportedly, a whale's heart can be as massive as a car, and the aorta is wide enough for a human to swim through, although that's not advisable, so don't try. The largest heart ever discovered belonging to a blue whale is now on display at the Royal Ontario Museum. This wasn't something consumed, but it really did shock the world. Gator versus drone. Alligators are downright intimidating from above. Just look at that face. This guy was using his drone to film one and quickly regretted his decision when the gator seized the opportunity and in a split second destroyed the drone with its powerful bite. It's a video that's both fascinating and terrifying. I sympathize with the drone owner, but keeping it aside, did you know that gators can jump 5 feet in the air, straight from the water using just their tail? That was some hell of a jump anyways. Fish with fingers. In an unbelievable twist, a fisherman's routine catch took a wild turn when he found a human finger in a trout he caught in a quiet Idaho lake. Hans had lost 4 of his fingers while wakeboarding, only to discover one of them in a trout 3 months later. Yes, you read that right. The fish had swallowed one of his fingers. When the police confirmed the fingerprint, they tracked down Hans. But surprisingly, he refused to reclaim his fingers back. This weird twist of fate leaves us scratching our heads. Would you have wanted your fingers back? Tell us in the comments. Chimps use plants. Meet the chimpanzees, who have their very own natural pharmacy in the wild. Chimpanzees often consume a variety of plants, not just for hunger, but to keep themselves healthy. While many of these plants might be a regular part of their diet, but some are eaten in specific situations. Chimps sometimes chew on elm tree bark, and guess what? It helps them fight off nasty germs. If they want to protect themselves against something like tuberculosis, they munch on cordia flower stems. And it's not just chimps, even goats do this. When they have internal worm issues, they have this instinct to nibble on a specific plant called Albaza and Thamica. It's like their natural way of deworming. 300 hooks. Meet Christina Zanetto, the fearless professional diver who's on a mission to save sharks by inserting her hands in their mouths. It all started when on just another ordinary day, she spotted a hook in Foggy Eyes, a shark she knows well, and without hesitation, Christina plunged her hand into its mouth to pull the hook out. Brave move, right? She successfully freed Foggy Eyes from the hook. But what happened next is even more fascinating. It's like the word spread in the underwater world, as more and more sharks started started approaching Christina with the same issue. The subscribers pick. Before I tell the story, let me tell you, this was a planned stunt and everyone came out safely. In 2014, wildlife conservationist Paul Rosali undertook a daring challenge to be swallowed alive by a giant anaconda. Despite the risks involved, he ventured into the Amazon equipped with a carbon fiber suit for protection. While the encounter lasted for quite some time, Rosali ended the encounter prematurely. While the stunt generated controversy and drew criticism from groups like PETA, it also raised awareness about conservation efforts in the Amazon. The incident initiated discussions on the ethical considerations of wildlife entertainment and underscored the importance of responsible conservation practices.